Welcome everyone to the biggest African mining event in North America, the Canada-Africa Chamber of Business 25th Annual African Mining Breakfast and Mine Africa's 22nd Annual Investing in Africa Mining Seminar.
Well, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce our ministerial speaker this year at the 25th Annual African Mining Breakfast with Mine Africa, the Honourable Samuel A. Jinapor, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources for the Republic of Ghana. The Honourable Minister is a Ghanaian lawyer, and indeed, applause. Usually the applause is after the bio, but Minister, clearly your presence precedes you and your popularity. As Minister and as a Ghanaian lawyer, you currently serve heading Lands and Natural Resources as Minister and Member of Parliament for the Damango constituency. The Minister holds a Bachelor of Degree in Science and Physics from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, his Bachelor of Laws and Master of Laws from the University of Ghana, and prior to becoming a minister, he worked as Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations at the Office of the President for a 4-year tenure. And prior to your public service, Minister, of course, we know you in your role in the private sector at Kulendi Law, where you rose to the rank of senior partner. Minister, a warm welcome to our PDAC breakfast. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mayor of the City of Sudbury, Chairperson of the Board of Canada-Africa Chamber of Business, President of Canada-Africa Chamber of Business, co-founder and past President of Mine Africa, Honorable Ministers, members of Ghana's Parliament, Ghana's High Commissioner to Canada, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Allied Gold Corporation, Excellencies, representatives of governments, captains of the mining industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm grateful to the organizers of this event, the Canada-Africa Chamber of Business and Mine Africa, for the invitation to participate in this important seminar and for the opportunity to deliver these opening remarks. Undoubtedly, over the years, this annual Africa Mining Breakfast and Investing in African Mining Seminar has become the largest meeting place for governments and businesses interested in Africa's mining industry. Holding this Africa-focused event on the sidelines of the world's oldest and biggest mining conference, the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada Convention, PDAC, is further testament to the bond of relations between Africa and Canada, which has been manifested in several areas of cooperation in trade, peace, and security. We in Ghana, in particular, recall with fond memories our relations with Canada, even prior to our independence, through the likes of the Ontario-born Sir Gordon Goggisberg, who served as governor of the then Gold Coast from 1919 to 1927, Lieutenant E.F.L. Peno, commander of our police force in the 1920s, and the Canadian Catholic missionaries, Fathers Oscar Morin and Leonard Basilio, who established the first Catholic missions in the northern part of our country. We must leverage on this cordial relation to promote business and trade between Canada and African countries. That is why the work of Canada-Africa Chamber of Business and this seminar are very consequential, for there is no better sector to promote trade and business than the extractive industry, which has proven to generate significant rent for its owners and stakeholders. Distinguished guests, mining remains the bulwark of the African continental economy, contributing substantially to revenue and gross domestic product. In Ghana, for example, the sector contributes approximately 16% of government income and 7.1% of our GDP. And even after years of mining, Africa still holds some 30% of the world's mineral reserves, with large deposits of green and emerging metals, including 91% of platinum group of metals, 79% of phosphate rock, 53% of cobalt, 46% of manganese, 35% of chromite, 21% of graphite, 6% of copper, and substantial reserves of lithium, iron ore, and rare earth elements. Without a shred of doubt, the future of global mining rests in Africa. We are enjoined by the African mining vision to promote optimal exploitation of these mineral resources to underpin broad-based sustainable growth and socio-economic development. Regrettably, over the years, the exploitation of these resources has not optimally benefited the African peoples. According to the 2023 Multidimensional Poverty Index report, nearly half of the world's 1.1 billion poor people live in sub-Saharan Africa. And using the International Monetary Fund's GDP per capita income, 25 out of the 30 poorest countries in the world are in Africa, including countries with large reserves of natural resources. Again, a 2018 United Nations Economic Commission for Africa study found that Africa's underdevelopment, despite the vast reserves of resources, is largely due to failure to attract sufficient investment in other diversified activities along the value chain of our resources, and our overdependence on the export of raw minerals. To change this phenomenon, we must move away from what we term, quote, dig and ship, end quote, and aspire to add value to the minerals we mine. A complete new paradigm shift, which will jettison the colonial architecture of mining, is what Africa needs, and I say with confidence that Africa will have it. Given the platform which I'm speaking, I believe I say the obvious, for it was Canada and South Africa who spearheaded the partnership to advance paragraph 46 of the Johannesburg Plan of Implementation, which calls for, among others, support for developing countries in mining and processing of minerals, including improved value-added minerals. It is this partnership that gave birth to the Intergovernmental Forum on Mining, Minerals, Metals, and Sustainable Development, with Canada as a founding host, which now has over 80 member countries and which seeks to advance member countries' sustainable development through effective policies for the mining industry. To realize the goal of IGF and the African mining vision of utilizing our mineral resources for sustainable development, and to ensure that these resources benefit our people and investors equitably, the government of Ghana, under the leadership of President Akufo-Addo, is promoting three main policies within the mining industry. Firstly, diversification of our mineral resource base to exploit the range of minerals that can be responsibly and viably mined. Secondly, beneficiation and value addition to minerals mined in our country to ensure a mutually beneficial situation for both government and investors. And finally, enhancing local content and local participation to ensure that while the interests of investors as our partners are upheld, Ghanaians, who are by law the owners of our mineral resources, also benefit from the mining industry. Given the limitation of time at this seminar, I invite you to join us at the Ghana Spotlight event at the Provincial Boardroom at this same hotel at 10 a.m., where we will share some more details on these policies, as well as our mineral endowment and our business-friendly environment. A welcoming investment climate should include appropriate policy, legislative, institutional, and fiscal framework. And Ghana, the beacon of democracy in Africa, is reputed in this area. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our modern-day lives depend largely on minerals and mining, which provide the components of the manufacturing industry. And this has become even more profound as the world works towards a green energy transition. Fortunately, we in Africa, apart from our mineral endowment, have created a common market through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, AfTA, headquartered in Ghana's vibrant capital city of Accra, with a market of over 1.2 billion people. Africa's mineral endowment places the continent in a unique position, particularly on this journey towards a green energy. I'm hopeful that this seminar will renew the cordial relations between Africa and Canada and encourage more businesses to invest in Africa's mining industry. And of course, my country, Ghana, the leading producer of gold in Africa and the undisputed mining hub of the continent. I thank you. Je vous remercie.
Thank you so much, Minister.